Welcome to another episode of the Bandage Podcast, a weekly wrap-up of the most trending healthcare news. Each week, we'll discuss the latest in healthcare, health IT, and compliance. In this week's episode, we discuss finding COVID in autopsied brains, the feds allocating gigantic funds for health initiatives, and connecting stroke likelihoods to blood types. Let's wrap things up. This is episode 167 for the week of January 9th. I'm Matt Moneypenny.
And I'm Albert Battistelli.
Before we get started, our diagnosis code of the week is W56.01, or bitten by dolphin.
Oh my gosh.
Yikes. I didn't know
dolphin,
dolphins bite.
Not
I thought they
flipper.
were like the dog of the sea.
They were. I thought they were. Yeah, well, dogs bite all the time. You know, I would just never expect well, I hear some weird stuff about dolphins, though, so I don't know.
I think, I don't know. I'm not flipper for sure. I've heard that dolphins are really big bullies in the ocean. So maybe this checks out.
I can
Everyone
see that.
likes them because they look cute, but
they look cute,
right?
But they're
low
just a bunch of
violent
jerks, right?
That's a scary one.
Yeah.
But Albert, did you know that bottlenose dolphins have between 80 and 100 teeth?
I did not, but imagine being bit by 80 to 100 teeth.
Ouch.
That'd be ow.
I could say ouch 80 to 100 times, I imagine, if that happened.
I imagine you could. That'd be a lot. Could do some major damage.
With that, let's get into our news. First up, we have useful hindsight. Scientists from the National Institute of Health, or NIH, tested tissue samples from the autopsies of 14 people who died of COVID-19 in their system that were performed in April 2020 to March 2021. They conducted extensive sampling of the nervous system, including the brain in 11 of the patients. Analysis showed that the virus primarily infected and damaged the airways and lung tissue. But the researchers also found viral RNA in 84 distinct body locations and bodily fluids. They found evidence of the virus in different parts of the brain, the spinal cord, and other areas of the nervous system. However, they found little damage to the brain tissue itself. The presence of COVID-19 was also found in the heart, lymph nodes, digestive tract, and eyes. Man,
wow.
So I guess if you get infected with COVID, you be getting infected with COVID.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Maybe that explains why no one can taste if they have it.
Right. It really
when
just
I had it, it was like
everything.
That. It was the worst.
It was. I couldn't taste anything either. I thought I would never be the same.
Yeah, I thought this was the end of it. And for a lot of people,
it
was a long time until they could actually taste it. And some people even said that they could never taste again, which would be very depressing.
What an awful, yikes.
Very depressing, but in hindsight, you wouldn't have to worry about, diets as much, because it's like, hey, it'd be easier for taking a diet. You're like, I can't taste this food anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Right. I can just
get something in my system.
Right. All right, next up, we have record funding for mental health. The $1.66 trillion omnibus funding bill that was recently passed through Congress touches nearly every aspect of the behavioral health industry. Advocates in the space praised the bill, even though it didn't include some long-sought reforms. A quick tally shows that the federal government is putting at least $10 billion into behavioral health in fiscal year of 2023. It also includes tens of millions of additional dollars allocated to initiatives, such as scientific research funding through organizations within the National Institutes of Health, that won't flow directly into the industry. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's exciting. Why not?
There's
More
a ton of stuff.
Health is good.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff in that bill, and I didn't get a chance to look at it, but like every time I turn around, it's like, oh, this thing that was in this bill. I'm like, really? How did this not get more publicity?
Politicians have a tendency to just stack bills with other things too.
Yeah.
So I imagine that not everything in here is 100% mental health related, unfortunately.
Oh, for sure.
Since that is the theme of the bill, most of the other initiatives in there would, it's safe to assume that most of it is mental health related, which is good.
Yeah. Take it.
Oh, go government,
So, we rarely say that, but
go government racers. Next up, blood and strokes. According to new research, a person's blood type may be linked to their risk of having an early stroke. Researchers gathered information of 48 genetic studies, which comprised approximately 600,000 non-stroke controls and about 17,000 patients who had a strokes. The ages of all participants range from 18 to 59. Two regions highly connected with an early risk of stroke were found. One matched the location of the blood type genes People whose genomes coded for a variation of a blood group had a 16% higher risk of having a stroke before the age of 60 compared to the population with other blood types. Those who carried the gene for blood type O1 had a 12% lower risk. The higher risk of stroke among those with type A blood is minimal. Thus, there is no need for additional screening and or monitoring. Whoa. Blood type. I didn't know that had something to do with it.
No, I feel like that always sneaks in, though. Okay, like, they'll talk about something, and they'll be like, oh, actually, your blood type can determine how at risk you are for a certain thing. And I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, it's surprising every time. Like, I kind of forget that my blood has a type.
You think that it could lead to, like, blood type wars between people if it actually ends up being, like, super accurate one day?
Right. Or, like
oh, you're blood B.
Right.
Like,
or certain blood types becoming, like
kings.
People try to harvest that. They're like, oh.
Yeah. That's like, that could be a good movie.
Right.
You know?
Transfuse me with type A.
Yeah, that's a good dystopian thriller we just created. Yeah. But
you need that blood.
We need that. We need type O.
Like, right. What?
Starring who? Who's it starring?
It's starring a Hemsworth.
John Krasinski.
Oh, John Krasinski. Okay.
He could be a doctor.
Yeah.
He could be the good guy. And then who could be the bad guy? I don't know. One of those bad guy character actors, I'm sure. They're out there somewhere.
For sure. Yeah. Vince D'Onofrio or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, let's go into our next segment.
BREACH, Breach Patrol. It's a breach! All of the latest cybersecurity breaches.
Welcome to Breach Patrol. Talk about the latest breaches all across the world. Whoa! Albert. Whoa! We got.
All right, we've got Volvo not evolving their security.
Nice.
Somebody posted an ad on a popular hacking forum claiming that they are selling sensitive data stolen from the Swedish manufacturing giant Volvo. The threat actor behind the ad insists that the company fell victim to a ransomware attack in late December. The company said it was aware of an alleged breach and is conducting an internal investigation. The leak supposedly includes sensitive data, such as access to several of the company's databases, Wi-Fi points and logins, employee lists, software keys, and other sensitive information. The threat actors have set a relatively modest price of $2,500 for the dataset, signaling the information might not be as sensitive as the seller would like it to be. If confirmed, the breach would be the second Volvo has experienced in less than 18 months. I will say that is the smallest amount of money I've ever seen on a breach patrol report. $2,500, just $2,000. Just take care of it. Just pay it.
Please, just somebody buy this. I don't want it.
Yeah.
It's
it's on sale. It's discounted this week.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like maybe hackers are kind of like, man, we didn't really get anything out of this. I guess we'll just put it on a discount price because it's like Wi-Fi 70% points
off. It's their after Christmas sale.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Hey, you know, it's time to be generous. Let's. We got this Volvo information. It's been sitting in our database, just taking up space. Let's try to make some money on it. Let's do a flash sale.
Buy one stolen data set, get one half off. BOGO.
Yeah. Buy one Wi-Fi access point, get the other one free.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I mean, you know, it's still a breach, but luckily it's not super bad. It seems like it's kind of like nominal information, which is cool. But you know, the value of a breach information is based on how sensitive it is, the information that's getting released. So I guess in this case, it's not that sensitive. So Volvo should maybe tighten things up, but you know, don't sweat it too hard, I guess, is the phrase for this.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have generic and evasive. A data breach at Toyota Motors India might have exposed some customers' personal information. Toyota India said it has notified the relevant Indian authorities of the data at Toyota Kirloskar Motor, a joint venture with Indian conglomerate Kirloskar Group. TKM announced the potential breach in an emailed statement without disclosing the size of the data breach or number of customers affected. I think India might be maybe like number 2 or 3 on security breaches list of all time. I think it's just because there's a lot of tech in India and there's a lot of people in India.
Yep.
So I think, you know, that just kind of makes sense. Toyota, it seems like Toyota Kirloskar Motor might be like Kirloskar Group might be some sort of a Indian conglomerate of
Yeah.
almost like your family neighborhood Toyota group around here in the
Right.
United States, probably that kind of thing but just in India. So
Yep.
I guess it just kind of depends on. It could be pretty bad because at a lot of car dealerships and stuff like that, they have sensitive information and credit information and social security numbers and all that kind of stuff because they need to do the financing. So hopefully it's not that bad. It seems like this is at the very, very beginning of it, since it was a very short story, but interesting because breaches happen all across the world, Albert.
Right. Everywhere. All right. And finally, we have spreading the joy on Facebook. The Malaysian Communications and Digital Minister ordered an inquiry into an alleged massive data breach affecting around 13 million citizens. The leaks reportedly involved data from Maybank, satellite broadcaster Astro, and the Election Commission. Last weekend, Malaysia's largest financial services group, Maybank, denied the alleged claim of a customer data breach. The leak came to light after a Facebook user tagged the minister and shared details about the data leak. The user shared screenshots of the data available in the breach forum, including information such as username, birth date, address, and identity numbers. So interesting. He's like,
whoa,
that you live in a country where someone can just you're the president or you're the minister of digital whatever communications, and someone can just tag you in a post and you see it and you're like, oh, cool. Thanks for showing me this breach that you just tagged me in.
Oh, cool.
What?
At Minister of Malaysia, check this out. It's like, whoa, repost, retweet,
share.
I mean, we joke, but it is an interesting concept, I guess. I don't know if it's scalable, but I like it.
Yeah.
Why not tag somebody? It seems like I mean, it's not like the FBI doesn't have social channels in the United States, but how much of those tagging or adding the face or the FBI's Twitter is really kind of looked at? I'm sure some of it is come through, but a lot of it's probably just trolling. But it's cool that the Malaysian Communications and Digital Minister could sift through all the trolls on the internet and find something that was actually worth looking into.
Yeah, that's true.
Very cool. Well, with that, that's our weekly wrap-up of your weekly healthcare news. Happy New Year. I'm Matt Moneypenny.
And I'm Albert Battistelli.
And we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Bandage Podcast produced by eTactics.